Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day's going wonderful. I'm so glad you're joining me. Well, it's the 14th, and that means Simon Says Stamp has a brand new card kit. This card kit is for June. I cannot believe half the year is over. Oh my goodness, it's for June 2025, and it's fabulous. It's called Captured Joy. And it has a whole bunch of things that I love in here, and I think you're going to love them too. I have it under here. I took it out of the bag, save a little bit of noise. And we're going to go over everything that's in our kit, and then we're going to jump in and create some cards using it. Okay, first off, we have some cardstock. We have, this is Simon Says Stamp's Audrey Blue. Beautiful, nice heavyweight cardstock. We also have some Simon Says Stamp white glossy cardstock. This is super cool. Love that. And then we have a sheet of Nina 110 pound. These are both 100 pound cardstock. This is a 110 pound Nina Solar White cardstock. And great for card bases, great for stamping. Those are the 3 sheets of cardstock we get in our kit. We also get a beautiful Audrey Blue A2 envelope. It's a peel and stick. Okay, next up we have the stamp set this month. It's not named after our kit. Our kit's called Capture Joy, but our stamp set is called Modern Scrapbook. How cool is that? You get 2 photo frames. You get some floral images, a few little hearts. You get some large and small tape pieces that are of stripes and polka dots. Some of them have little hearts on there, and tons of greetings in here. Great for scrapbooking, but also great for card making. It's a 6x8 stamp set, and it's lovely. Okay, and are you ready? To go with our stamp set, we also have the Modern Scrapbook die set. Look how huge this is. So this is a 6x8 stamp set, and we get the coordinating die. Doesn't look like it's going to cut out all of the greetings, but it looks like it's going to cut out a lot of them. Probably a lot of the bigger greetings. The smaller ones that are like block lettered, I'm pretty sure that you just trim that out. The nice thing is Simon included 4 dies. Okay, so you can actually cut a window out and create a shaker with the big and the small photo frame. I did that before. Actually, I just created a card doing that. So you could put the squares inside the rectangles to create your photo, to cut out the windows, to create a shaker, or actually just to add dimension if you wanted to. So this is huge. This is the Modern Scrapbook die set, and it was designed by Kathy Zilski. And it's fabulous. I can't wait to create with this. So much fun. Love that. Next up, we get some pattern papers. These are 6x8 pattern papers too. These are from Simple Stories. You get 12 sheets, and this is Simple Stories Vintage Flower Shop. I actually created some projects using this. I'll leave that video link at the end if you want to check it out. But love this. There's tags. There's even little photos that you could cut out. Let me show you that I really like. That's pretty cool. And then there's also several cut-aparts. And 12 pieces of double-sided pattern papers you get. Love this. Also, you get an A2 piece of acetate. Let me see if this is special acetate. Nope, it's just regular acetate. So you get 1 A2 sheet of acetate. Like I mentioned, you can create some shakers with it. I love that they included that. And then we also get some Simple Story rub-ons. There are 2 6x8 sheets in here. This is the back, and this is the front. You get the rub-on stick. I've been loving rub-ons. I just love this. So I'm glad they included that, and it coordinates with the paper because it is the Simple Vintage Flower Shop collection. Also included are some foam strips. This is a quarter sheet, but there's lots in this quarter sheet. So this is great for putting along the edges of your photo frame and creating the shaker, or just for popping it up too. And then you get a bag of sequins, and look how pretty these are. These are just gorgeous. This is Joyful Moments embellishment mix. But the colors are just stunning, and they go really well with our pattern paper. Love it. And then finally we get an embossing folder. This is a fabulous embossing folder. It's hard to, well, you can see kind of the bullseye design. Bullseye and polka dots. Can't go wrong with that. Well, there you go. You can see here. So much fun. It's called Dot Spiral. And that's also included in our kit. It's a pretty fabulous kit. And I can't wait to create with it. I did forget one thing. We do also get a sweet treat. So I got strawberry lemonade today. Yummy, yummy. And what I'm going to do is figure out what we're going to do, and then we'll jump in and get started. For my first card, we're going to make a shaker card. We have the acetate here that we're probably going to use every bit of this. But I am taking that glossy finish cardstock and using our embossing folder, I'm going to emboss an A2 panel using this. Okay, so we'll put this in. I'm making sure the smooth side is on top, and I'll emboss this. So this is what it looks like. It's a lovely embossing folder, kind of a bullseye, kind of a polka dot print. I'm going to take the third from the largest of my stitched circles die set. These are from Simon, and I'm going to line it up in this circle area here, and then I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. Usually when I cut out a window, I like to cut out a window first and then emboss, but since I want the pattern in the background to be perfectly straight, this is going to be easier for me. It will flatten some of my embossed detail a little bit, but I'm going to roll with it. So it did flatten. There, you can still, it's still embossed. Let me see. It's still embossed, but it did definitely flatten it a little bit. Now I did trim a little off the right and a little bit off the left. Actually, let me tell you the size that I trimmed it, because I trimmed a little bit off the bottom too. So this panel now measures 3.5 inches wide by 5 inches tall. Okay, and then I also have a piece of the wood grain pattern paper. The papers that we're going to be using today, let me show you. We're going to be using this one here. We're going to be using this plaid. I'm going to cut out butterflies from this, and I'm going to use a photo frame from this. Okay, I'm going to use that for all 3 of my cards today. I kind of like a color theme when I create my cards. And also the wood grain here. I trimmed down a piece of the wood grain, and this measures 3 3/4 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall. So this is going to fit the length of my card base, and this is going to fit where I could see a little bit off the left, a little bit off the right to build our shaker. Now I'm going to take my acetate, and I'm going to trim down a small piece to fit behind here. Lovely. And then I'm also going to trim a little bit off the top here. Now using my glue, I'm going to go ahead and add some glue around here. And we'll add our acetate. And I'll give that a second to grab. And in the meantime, I'm going to die cut out a circle using our plaid paper here. I'll cut out a circle, and then I also want a frame. So I'm going to take this print, and I'm going to take the smallest die that we cut out a window with, and then one slightly larger. And I'll cut out a frame with this. Okay, so now I have my frame. I'm going to go ahead and add my frame that we created. Should we pop it up? No. Well, no. I'm going to go ahead and add glue. Ooh, that's a pretty color too. I'm going to add glue behind the frame. And then we're just going to layer this together. Okay, I'm going to flip this over. Now using our foam strips that we got in our kit this month, I'm going to remove the release paper and just go around this circle here. If you wanted to use one of your square dies that came with the kit this month, you could use that. But since there was like a bullseye look on our embossing folder, I thought circles would go really nice. Okay, after we have this done, we're going to use our sequins, and these are so pretty. Such pretty. I'm going to add some here. And then I'll take that circle that I cut out and I'm going to put it right behind that shaker here. And then I'm going to add foam tape in these up here and around the sides. Now I'm going to add a little glue behind here. And then I'm going to layer this directly on that wood grain pattern paper right in the center here. Okay, next we're going to do a little stamping. I'm going to do some stamping with our flowers here. And I want to stamp several greetings because I'm not sure which one I want to use for this card here. But I know we're going to stamp Say Cheese, Happy Birthday, and how about I'm So Glad We're Friends. Now for my flowers, I'm not going to use pinks or oranges. I'm going to actually use a brown. I think that's going to be really pretty on my card today. So I'm just going to ink this up. This is Simon Says Stamp's Cozy ink. It's like a taupe, really pretty color. Let me stamp this. I'm going to stamp this several times. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp lots of leaves. And I'm using Perfection for this. I know this is kind of an odd color for flowers, but I think it's just going to go with my pattern. Okay, I'm going to go, oh, let's stamp our greeting also. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut these out. My die cutting is all done, and I did put foam tape behind the medium and the larger flower, and I did glue my leaves behind each of the flowers. The medium flower I put 1 leaf, the larger flower I put 2, and then the smaller flowers I didn't put any. And then I did stamp my greetings using my cozy ink. Okay, now I do want to add some kind of floral on this card, so we're going to use the Simple Stories rub-ons that was on our kit. What I'm going to do is cut this out here. I am going to take my scissors and I'm actually going to try and cut away most of the excess because we are going to add this to some white cardstock, and I don't need any of the extra fluff that's around the camera. There's some, for example here, there's some like distressed marks around the camera, but I'm going to go around it because we're going to actually fussy cut around this camera on white cardstock. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to take this rub-on and we're going to add it to some white cardstock. Give it a good press. Okay, and then we're going to take our popsicle stick / burnisher, and all we're going to do, if my camera shakes, I'm sorry, is just rub that on some white cardstock. Okay, and what we do is you just pick up one side, hold the other side, and carefully lift it up. And it looks like I got it all. And we just transfer that to some white cardstock. And isn't that so pretty? Now I did that because I'm going to fussy cut around here. And I'm going to pop it up and put it underneath my shaker. For this card, I'm going to use Happy Birthday. So I did pop it up with some foam tape. We're going to add Happy Birthday now over here on this side. And then I'm going to add a few extra little flowers. Now for finishing touches, I'm going to bring in some liquid pearls. This is platinum pearl. And I'm going to fill in those flowers with some liquid pearls. I'm also going to add a few to my rub-on piece here. I gave it a tap and it smushed down my liquid pearls, and that will finish off my birthday card. Now I'm going to put this to the side and we're going to jump in with our next card. For my next card, I mentioned we're gonna use that inside circle. Okay, and for this, there is a daisy here. I love the daisies in here. I'm gonna take one of the daisies. And I'm hoping that this will work. And I'm gonna use the smaller acetate piece here. We still have a bigger one left, okay? But I'm gonna take the smaller one, and I'm going to add my rub-on to my acetate. Now, I don't know if this is gonna work or not, but we'll see. We'll just give this a press. Let's see if we got it here. Okay, yes, it worked wonderful. Look how lovely that is. That's on our acetate. Okay, I am going to cut around it. Maybe we can make I thought maybe we can make a floating daisy. So just cut around it. This part doesn't have to be perfect because you can't see it. And I'm going to put in, now on the back side here, I'm going to bring in a foam square. The big one will fit. And then I'm going to add this to the center here of my embossed background. Now we have pattern papers. This piece here is 3 1/4 inch squared. Okay, and then we have 3 1/4 inch wide by 2 inches tall. We have 3 1/4 inches wide by 3/4 inches tall. We're going to layer these together. So I'm going to use my glue, add some adhesive. I went ahead and embossed one more A2 panel using our embossing folder, and we're going to take this and adhere it directly to the front of our card base. Okay, and then I'll take this panel and I'm going to adhere it to the front of this. I'm going to add foam tape behind this embossed circle, and we're just going to place this right in the middle. I'm going to take the smallest, add some glue behind here, and I'm going to create a layer just below my plaid paper. The flower with the leaf I am going to pop up here with some foam tape. And then I'm going to take, for this card, I'm going to use the greeting that says, "I'm so glad we're friends." I did put a foam strip behind here, and we're going to add this just below our daisy there. I think we need a couple more leaves, so I'm going to, let me flip this one around to go up, and I'm going to use my Perfection and just stamp directly on my wood grain pattern. I'm hoping that this is going to work. I think that worked out great. Wonderful. And then I'm going to bring back my liquid pearls and fill in those flower centers. And just to tie everything together, I am going to add a couple little dots of liquid pearls in that daisy. And then I will finish this off with a few sequins. I don't know if you guys know this, but inside of our sequin mix, you have all these beautiful pastel colors, but there's also some like smaller clear ones in there. So I dumped my whole package out and I used a couple of the small clear ones on this card. Okay, kind of made a mess, but they're easy to pick up. I'm just gonna put these back in here using my acetate, but that will finish off my card number 2. We're going to move along to our third card today. For this card, I embossed another A2 panel with my glossy white cardstock, and we're going to adhere this to the front of my card, but I'm going to adhere it upside down. Okay. Now I have some pattern papers. This one measures 1.5 inches tall. I'm going to use my tape runner and adhere this to the bottom of our card base, right over our embossed background. Okay, we will trim away the excess. I'm going right over the embossed area. You could very well trim it. Let me see, you could trim it to 2 inches and save the bottom part for another card if you wanted to. But I'm going to go ahead and add this print right above my plaid paper. And we will trim this. Wonderful. And then I have this piece of our wood grain pattern paper. This one measures 2 3/4 inches wide by 4 1/4 inches tall. I'm actually going to pop this up with some foam tape, and this is going to go in the middle here. Now I'm going to take my photo frames. I'm going to use the brown photo frame here. So I really like that pattern too. But I'm going to take the brown and I'm going to trim this away here. Okay, now I'm going to take our rub-on and I'm going to cut out our little flower bucket here. And I'm not, you see all the little distressed area to the left and right. I'm going to skip cutting that out and just go around the flowers. Okay, I cut off the handles too. There was 2 little loopy handles. I cut them off. Only because they would be too hard to fussy cut out. So now what I'm going to do is take my photo frame. I'm going to add it to the acetate here, and then I'm going to add my flowers. I'm overlapping my flowers on the photo frame and the acetate. I'm going to give it a good press. Let me show you what I mean. Okay. Okay, now what we're going to do is fussy cut around it. Now I'm going to take this, we're going to flip it over, and I'm going to pop it up with some foam tape. And then I'll take this, we're going to add it to the center of our wood grain paper. And then we have our greeting that says "Say Cheese." Let's add this. And then we have our extra flowers that we stamped. We're going to go ahead and add a few little flowers over here. Maybe overlapping a couple on top here. Now I'm going to bring in my liquid pearls here. And we're going to fill in those flower centers. And we're going to add a few of our sequins. I'm going to try and find some of my corally color. We'll add to our background. Give it a little tap. And then that will finish off that card. Something fun to do with the rub-ons and the acetate that came in our kit this month. Again, this is the Simon Says stamp June 2025 card kit called Capture Joy. I hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.